These failings, identified by investigative journalists, not only let my mother down and my family down, they let the public down too.
These failings identified by investigative journalists not only let my mother down and my family down, they let the public down too. Prince William just stumbled upon a shocking hidden letter from Princess Diana, and what it says could change everything, especially for Camilla. For years, whispers of Diana's untold truths have haunted the royal family, but now a long-lost message may finally expose the secrets she never got to reveal. Could this be her final warning or an unspoken goodbye meant just for her sons? As tensions rise in the monarchy, this discovery has everyone asking, what did Diana really want William to know, and why does it threaten Camilla's place on the throne? Princess Diana's heartfelt letters are set to be auctioned in 2024. A collection of deeply personal, handwritten letters and cards from Princess Diana to her family's former housekeeper is going up for auction, capturing an intimate glimpse into the beloved royal's warmth and gratitude. These letters were addressed to Violet Collison, fondly known to Diana as Collie, who served as the housekeeper at Park House, Sandringham Estate, where Diana spent her childhood. Their bond endured beyond Diana's youth, as Collie continued to send gifts to the princess and her young sons, Princes William and Harry. In return, Diana expressed her heartfelt thanks through touching letters and Christmas cards. Now, decades later, these treasured correspondences are expected to fetch thousands of pounds when they go under the hammer in Stansted, Mountfitchet on July 30th. Among them is a particularly remarkable letter written on Buckingham Palace stationery, sent just 3 weeks before Diana's fairy-tale wedding to Prince Charles. In it, she offers a light-hearted peek into the pre-wedding whirlwind, writing, "Everyone frantically busy here doing last-minute decorations." The bride-to-be had remained quite calm. Another letter, dated September 1984, captures Diana's deep love for her children, expressing gratitude for a gift sent to newborn Prince Harry. She shared an endearing detail about her sons. William adores his little brother and spends the entire time pouring an endless supply of hugs and kisses over Harry. Luke MacDonald, director of Saunders Auctioneers, described the letters as incredibly personal, highlighting Diana's kind and thoughtful nature. "These are moments we might never have known about if not for these letters," he noted. There are 35 letters in total, 32 of which were written between 1995 and 1996. They reveal just how genuine, caring, and appreciative Diana truly was, even over the smallest of gestures. The letters on auction are a clear expression of Princess Diana's affections in black and white. Let's take a brief look at some of these heartfelt letters. An extraordinary collection of personal letters written by Princess Diana has surfaced, offering an intimate look into her life as a mother and a member of the royal family. These handwritten notes, addressed to the Spencer family's longtime housekeeper, are now set to be auctioned with expectations of fetching thousands. The letters, spanning the early years of Prince William and Prince Harry, overflow with warmth, love, and delightful family moments. In one particularly touching note, Diana expresses how much William adores his baby brother, describing how he showers Harry with endless hugs and kisses. The letter was a heartfelt thank you to the housekeeper for a birthday gift for Harry, where Diana shares how deeply touched she is and how much she and Harry appreciate the new bibs. Another letter captures the magic of Christmas through a child's eyes. Diana recounts William's innocent fascination with the holiday season, mentioning how he was completely puzzled by the whole event but utterly mesmerized by the twinkling Christmas lights. "I'd just like to say how very kind the Regent Street Association was to invite me to put on the Christmas lights this year. These glimpses into their home life bring to light the pure joy and excitement that filled their family moments." The collection also includes charming anecdotes about the boys' everyday lives. Adventures such as Harry's christening and William's eagerness to unwrap Christmas presents before the big day are fondly remembered in Diana's letters. In one note, she playfully remarks on the boundless energy of her two young sons, writing, "It's quite a job keeping up with them." Her words reflect the relatable challenges of motherhood, even within the walls of royalty. Beyond the letters, the auction features a variety of royal memorabilia, including Christmas cards that showcase Charles and Diana on their wedding day and later as proud parents with their two young sons. Also included in this remarkable collection are rare invitations, one to the legendary 1981 royal wedding and another to Diana's funeral in 1997. The latter comes with a memorial card from her devoted sisters, Jane Fellows and Sarah McCorkadale, a somber reminder of the princess's enduring legacy. These deeply personal letters and keepsakes serve as a rare window into the private life of Princess Diana and her young family, capturing her warmth, humor, and boundless love for her children. For collectors and admirers alike, they offer an unparalleled treasure trove of royal history. Let's take a look at Princess Diana's struggle in the royal family, a mother's fight against royal traditions. Life as a royal was far from the fairy tale the world imagined for Princess Diana. From the moment she walked down the aisle to marry Prince Charles in 1981, she was thrust into a world of rigid traditions, public scrutiny, and a constant battle between duty and personal fulfillment. While the media painted her as the beloved people's princess, the reality behind palace doors was much darker. She faced immense struggles, ones that intensified as her marriage crumbled. With her personal happiness slipping away, she found herself clinging to the one role that mattered most to her, being a mother. Diana understood that raising the future King of England came with expectations. For centuries, royal children had been molded by tradition, taught to prioritize duty above all else. Emotional expression was often secondary to discipline and responsibility. But Diana, with her warm and compassionate nature, refused to let history dictate her son's upbringing. She wanted them to see life beyond the gilded walls of the palace, to witness firsthand the struggles and joys of ordinary people. Whether it was taking them to McDonald's for a casual meal, visiting hospitals together, or allowing them to experience life outside royal privilege, she was determined to raise them differently. As the years passed and her marriage to Charles disintegrated, Diana's anxiety grew. Princess Diana is being remembered as a woman who brought lasting change to the royal family. She feared losing not only her position within the royal family but also her influence over her children. She knew that forces within the monarchy might try to limit her role as a mother, reinforcing the strict traditions she had fought so hard to break. Her letters from this period reveal the depth of her worries. In one particularly emotional letter from 1993, she wrote, "I live for my boys, I would be lost without them." These words were not just a heartfelt declaration of love, they were the desperate plea of a mother terrified of being pushed aside. Diana was fighting not only for her son's future but also for her place in their lives. Even as the world admired her grace and compassion, behind closed doors she was engaged in the most personal battle of all, the battle to remain the mother she longed to be. What kind of mother was Diana? Let's dig into the details of her unique parenting style. Unlike the generations of royals before her, Princess Diana was determined to give her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, a childhood that felt as normal as possible. While previous heirs to the throne had been raised in a world of strict formality, cut off from the everyday lives of ordinary people, Diana broke this long-standing tradition. She wanted her boys to understand the world beyond palace walls. To achieve this, she made sure William and Harry had experiences that most children could relate to. She took them to amusement parks, where they laughed on roller coasters and ate cotton candy like any other family. She let them enjoy simple pleasures, like stopping at McDonald's for a happy meal, something unheard of for royal children. Most significantly, she ensured that they were not isolated within the royal bubble. Rather than being privately tutored inside the palace as was customary, she insisted that they attend public school, interact with classmates from different backgrounds, and learn about life beyond royal privilege. This approach was nothing short of groundbreaking, and it did not sit well with everyone inside the palace. The British royal family had always maintained a sense of distance from the public, believing that the royal role required a level of detachment. Royals were expected to be symbols of tradition, not everyday people. But Diana shattered this image. She believed that future kings should not only rule but also relate to the people they would one day serve. She wanted her sons to grow up with compassion, understanding, and real-world experiences, qualities she felt were essential for strong and empathetic leadership. Her unconventional methods made her incredibly popular with the public, who saw her as a warm and loving mother, completely different from the cold, detached royals of the past. However, within the palace, her choices sparked tension. Many viewed her as disruptive, challenging centuries of royal customs. Yet despite the criticism, Diana never wavered. She remained committed to raising her children in a way that would prepare them for the modern world, not just the throne. In the end, her influence shaped both William and Harry in profound ways, making them the most relatable and down-to-earth royals the world had ever seen. Diana's legacy as a mother endures, proving that love, kindness, and real-life experiences are just as important as tradition. Unfortunately, her marriage faced many challenges, from the stress related to royal duties and protocols, to the usual pressures of motherhood, and the emotional strain of her husband's affair. Eventually, she made a firm stand on her marriage. Let's delve into the details of what she did. By 1995, Princess Diana had reached a turning point. He was no longer willing to remain silent. For years, she had endured the pressures of royal life, but now she was ready to tell her side of the story. She chose to do so in a groundbreaking BBC Panorama interview, one that would make headlines around the world and forever change how people viewed the British monarchy. In this deeply personal and revealing conversation, Diana spoke candidly about the struggles she faced as a royal, the emotional toll of living in the public eye, and most importantly, her greatest concern, her sons, William and Harry. More than anything, she wanted them to grow up with a true understanding of the world beyond palace walls. "I want them to understand people's emotions, their insecurities, their distress, their hopes and dreams," she said with sincerity. Her words struck a chord with millions, touching hearts across the globe. People saw not just a princess, but a mother fiercely protective of her children, determined to raise them with compassion and authenticity. However, within the royal family, her decision to speak out was seen as a betrayal. For centuries, the monarchy had operated under strict rules of discretion, and Diana's public honesty was unprecedented. She was no longer just a devoted mother, she had become a woman openly challenging the very institution she had once been part of. The consequences were swift and severe. By 1996, a highly publicized divorce from Prince Charles was finalized. With it, she lost her official title of Her Royal Highness, a symbolic stripping of her royal status. Though she remained the Princess of Wales, her role within the monarchy was significantly reduced. Yet despite these losses, Diana refused to let anything come between her and her sons. Her love for William and Harry remained as strong as ever. She continued to write them heartfelt letters, filling the pages with encouragement, wisdom, and motherly advice. Some were simple reminders of her affection, while others carried deeper concerns about their future. Even as her royal life faded into the background, Diana's role as a mother never wavered. In the end, her greatest legacy was not her title, but the love and values she instilled in her sons, principles that would shape them for the rest of their lives. During the process of auctioning Princess Diana's letters, many correspondences were compiled. The lost letter was likely discovered during this compilation process. Let's dig into the details related to the lost letter. Among the many letters penned by Princess Diana, one would later emerge as truly extraordinary, a message so deeply personal and eerily prophetic that it would not come to light until 2024. For decades, this letter was thought to have vanished, buried in the past like so many whispers of royal intrigue. But unlike her other correspondences, this one carried a striking sense of urgency, almost as if she had foreseen that her time was slipping away. As the year 1997 unfolded, Diana's life was undergoing a profound transformation. She had cut nearly all ties with the royal family, stepping into a new chapter of independence, free from the constraints of palace life. She threw herself wholeheartedly into humanitarian work, championing causes that had become the core of her mission, raising awareness for AIDS, advocating for landmine victims, and fighting for the welfare of children worldwide. Her passion was undeniable, and her influence stretched across continents. Yet even as she embraced her newfound freedom, an unshakable worry remained: her sons, William and Harry. Close friends later revealed that in her final months, Diana appeared more anxious than usual. There was a shadow of unease behind her smile, a feeling she couldn't quite shake. She confided in those closest to her, hinting at a growing fear that something was not right. Her words were cautious but unmistakable. She sensed danger, though she couldn't name its source. During this time, she put pen to paper, writing a letter that now reads like a chilling premonition. At the time, this sentence might have seemed like nothing more than a passing reflection, an expression of uncertainty in a life constantly under scrutiny. But now, with the weight of hindsight, those words take on a haunting significance. Did Diana somehow know that she would never have the chance to say what was on her mind? Was this letter her way of warning the world, of leaving behind a final whisper of the truth she feared would be silenced? Looking back, it seems as though the princess, so beloved and admired, had felt the storm gathering long before it arrived. And with this letter, she left behind not just her thoughts, but a mystery that still lingers decades later. Before her tragic death in 1997, she finalized her divorce with Prince Charles. Let's take a look at how she spent the last summer as a mother, despite being away from the royal family. The summer of 1997 was a whirlwind for Princess Diana. She traveled across Europe, enjoying brief moments of peace and happiness. But her every step was shadowed by the relentless glare of the paparazzi. The media had always pursued her, but now, without the protection of the royal family, she was more exposed than ever. Photographers followed her relentlessly, capturing every smile, every movement, and every glance, turning her private moments into a public spectacle. Despite the chaos and intrusion, Diana never lost sight of what mattered most to Diana was her role as a mother. No amount of flashing cameras or sensational headlines could distract her from her two beloved sons, William and Harry. While they spent their summer in Scotland with the royal family, she remained in constant contact, making sure they felt her presence even from afar. Through heartfelt letters and phone calls, she reassured them of her love, reminding them to stay strong and true to themselves. Among the many letters she sent, one contained a message that would later carry a heartbreaking significance: "You are my world, and I will always love you." These words were more than just a mother's affection, they were a promise, a declaration that no distance, no circumstance, and no media storm could change the bond she shared with her children. It was a phrase she had often spoken to them, but in those final months, as if sensing the fragility of life, it seemed to hold an even deeper weight. As the world watched her, some admiring her grace and kindness, others eager for the latest scandal, Diana's heart remained firmly anchored to the two young princes she adored. No matter how turbulent her life became, her greatest priority was ensuring that William and Harry knew they were loved beyond measure. In her final summer, Diana was not just a global icon or a target of media obsession, she was, above all else, a mother. One whose love, even decades after her passing, continues to echo in the hearts of her sons and the world that cherished her. Her last moment came at the end of August 1997. Let's delve into the tragic night that led to the death of the princess. On the evening of August 30, 1997, Princess Diana picked up the phone for what would unknowingly be the final time she would ever speak to her beloved sons. It was a simple, familiar conversation, nothing out of the ordinary, the kind of call a mother makes just to check in, to remind her children that she loves them, to hear their voices, and to share in their small joys. There was laughter, warmth, and love in every word exchanged. To young Prince William and Prince Harry, it was just another night, just another chat with their mother. But neither of them could have imagined that this was a moment they would hold on to for the rest of their lives, the last time they would ever hear her voice. A few hours later, the world was shattered. In the early hours of August 31st, tragedy struck. In the dimly lit Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, the car carrying Diana crashed violently. And by the time the sun rose, the devastating news had spread like wildfire. Princess Diana, the woman who had captivated hearts around the world, the woman who was loved not just for her royal status but for her compassion, her warmth, and her connection to ordinary people, was gone. The grief was immeasurable. The world came to a standstill as millions mourned the loss of the people's princess. Tributes poured in, flowers blanketed the gates of Kensington Palace, and strangers wept for a woman they had never met but felt they knew. But amid the global sorrow, two young boys were experiencing a pain that no words could ever capture. William, just 15, and Harry, only 12, had lost not just a princess, not just a public figure, but their mother, their source of comfort, their greatest cheerleader, their haven. Yet even in their heartbreak, the weight of royal duty pressed down on them. In a world where grief is raw and messy, they were expected to grieve with composure, to walk behind their mother's coffin with steady steps, to remain dignified under the gaze of millions. While the world wept, they were forced to be strong. But behind their bowed heads and solemn expressions were two young boys whose lives had been forever changed in a way they were too young to fully comprehend. The lost letter, one of the several heartfelt messages Princess Diana sent to her children when away, sends a deep signal. Let's explore why this letter was probably hidden. In the days following Princess Diana's tragic passing, the world mourned not just a beloved royal but a devoted mother. Many wondered if she had left behind a final message for her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry. Had she penned her last thoughts, offering them guidance for the years ahead? Had she shared her deepest hopes and fears? No such letter was ever made public. Yet those closest to Diana knew one thing for certain: she never stopped writing to her boys. Even when separated by royal duties or travel, she poured her heart into letters, ensuring they always felt her presence. Now, decades later, in 2024, a long-lost letter has surfaced, one that may change how the world sees the people's princess. Its words reflect everything she stood for: her concern that William and Harry might be trapped by the rigid expectations of royalty, her longing for them to carve out their own identities, and above all, her boundless love for them. As the world reads her heartfelt message, an eerie sense of destiny takes shape. Could Diana have foreseen the very lives her sons would one day lead: William, bound to the weight of the crown, fulfilling the duty he was born into, and Harry, breaking free from tradition, forging his own path far from palace walls? The very choices they made seemed to mirror the hopes and warnings their mother had written so long ago. Diana's legacy has never been confined to history books or newspaper headlines. It lives on in the way her sons navigate their lives, in the choices they make, and now, in her own words, rediscovered after all these years. Through this letter, her voice rises once more, not as a princess, not as a public figure, but as a mother who simply wanted the best for her children. And perhaps in these carefully chosen words, she has given them one final gift: a reminder that no matter where life takes them, her love will always be with them. What do you think about Princess Diana's lost letter? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.